It's Friday, May 23rd, 2025, and spring has sprung in Los Angeles. How am I this week? Like a fit Essex bud, getting absolutely wankered after she was slagged off in Love Island, UK. I've been pissed. Well, hello there. This is Jenny, and you are listening to a free and shorter version of What Should We Talk About with Jenny Yang. Subscribe, rate, and review. Consider being a paid subscriber at jennyyang.substack.com. Sure, you can listen to me wherever you pod, but you can also do that. Plus, watch the full episode with links and sources at jennyyang.substack.com. Keep me independent and talking my shit. And remember to get your topic on our weekly agenda. Leave a cute voicemail or text at 323-250-3589. On with the show. What should we talk about?
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 This is What Should We Talk About with Jenny Yang, your weekly catch-up time with smart and funny people who give a fuck. Probably too many fucks. We discuss topics submitted by our guests and you, the listener. Any topic, current, old, big, small, nerdy, petty. Submit a topic, leave a voicemail or text at 323-250-3589. And no, I do not check them myself. Sometimes. On today's agenda, we have number 1, podcast updates. Number 2, being first generation and breaking the cycle. Number 3, 10-year-olds shopping at Sephora. Number 4, Google's new AI video generator, Veo 2. Number 5, true crime stories. Number 6, a reality TV show competition for immigrants to get citizenship. Number 7, House of Representatives have passed the MAGA murder budget. Number 8, graduation speeches about Gaza. Number 9, action items. And number 10, show me some love. Because you don't want to feel like you're losing your mind and because you long for a better world filled with fun, love, joy, and cool shit. This is What Should We Talk About with Jenny Yang. Oh, it's 3? Oh, sorry. Veo.
3.
I don't remember.
My bad. Oh, it's Veo 3. Veo. Do they say Veo? See, that's what I'm saying. I make everything Spanish. Veo. I'm like Veo. Veo 3. You don't have to cut that out. This is my immediate correction.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Veo 3. That shows you how much I know about it.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good read off.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, that was really good. It sounded like an animated, like, you could do voice acting, like, I could really hear it.
Oh my God, thank you. I do voice acting.
Oh, do you?
Oh. Well, there you go.
I do a character on the Great North called Carissa.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you watch the Great North on Fox. They're made by the people who do Bob's Burgers.
Oh, really?
Mhm,
Wow.
Yes.
no idea.
Enjoy, watch it.
But I see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I see the experience.
Okay. Today, we have all 3 of the TODO CHIDO Podcast. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
They are based out of over here in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
All right.
More
Yeah.
specific.
No, I know. I was like, everyone who's like a comedian, they come on and they give a long ass intro. And when I asked you for your intro, they're like, yeah, we're a podcast based out here in Los Angeles. That's it. And we have here all 3 of them, Julyssa, Stevie, and Brandon.
Hello.
Hi.
Is Stevie preferred?
Yeah,
Not Steve. I don't know why I call you Steve.
Stevie just is a very more, my family calls me Stevie, so
Aw.
it's kind of just a more endearing, kind of like wholesome way of calling me.
So
And
you're letting me
yeah,
be wholesome with you?
yeah,
Okay.
I am. This feels like a safe space, so
Oh, thank
I wanted
you.
to set the kind of groundwork for it.
I appreciate that.
Of course.
So Julyssa, what do you want to shout out this week?
Shout out. Well, today, honestly, I was having such a good time cleaning because I've been so busy, like with work and stuff.
Yeah.
How I mentioned I have like multiple jobs. So today was like finally my day off. So
Yeah.
I got to clean. And I was actually happy about it because I was like, my life feels organized. So
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you you don't have to tell us specifically, but what are some types of the multiple jobs that you do?
So I work in the sports industry. I do a lot of like the game presentation, game entertainment side. So if you guys ever
Oh.
see like the games or like if there's ever groups that come to watch the games, I mostly help manage them, make sure they get their experience from all these
Like
events.
it's like marketing.
Yeah, marketing,
Mhm.
promotions, events, kind
Mhm.
of stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
People are jealous of you. Right? When they say you work in sports entertainment?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, sports and entertainment. And it kind of also just happened. So I also feel very lucky
Yeah.
in the things that I've fallen in.
All right.
So I'm like very grateful, especially because I really wanted to work in events. So
Oh.
falling into sports just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And that was just such an amazing thing.
Be honest. Were you actually interested in sports or did you fake it to get the job?
I honestly was more into events. Like, yeah, I generally was more into events. I actually wanted to do wedding planning.
Oh, what?
And then so I was in San Francisco, but then I moved here because I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
And so then when I moved back, I was like, okay, I kind of have to rebuild my life now.
Mhm.
And then I started with the Clippers. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll shout out the teams. But I started with the Clippers. I was just like, I want to work in events. They had a position called group events, and I was like, I signed up, did my group interview, and I got it.
Nice.
And then from there, it kind of just helped me get into the other teams that I'm in, which is like the Dodgers, LA Galaxy, and just other ones. Kind
Yeah.
of in that, just networking.
Don't just be randomly hitting Julyssa up.
All
right. I will. Now I know her.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. Well, I'm so happy you're here. How about you, Stevie? What do you want to shout out this week?
I want to shout out all my pets. Shout out my. I have 1 cat and 3 dogs. Shout them out. Every time I come home, they're always super happy to see me. Never sad or any other emotion. Just always excited to see me. So I think it always makes my day feel really good.
Oh, that's so nice. What are your pets' names?
So it's Canela, Cholo, Bocha, and Kitty. Kitty's the cat.
What if Kitty wasn't the cat?
No.
That would be funny.
That would be funny.
Kitty was the dog.
I did think when we first got our newest dog, I was thinking of just calling him Dog. Because we already
Yeah.
had Kitty.
Yeah.
We should have Dog.
Honestly, that's like a very Chinese way of naming things sometimes, where you're just like, hey, dirty. You know what I mean? Like, just like, that's how my mom would call a dog because she thinks dogs are dirty.
Rachel Berg got a cat named Puppy.
Oh, nice. A cat named Puppy. So, usually not on camera, but heard on the fourth mic is my guy and co-producer of Life, Corey Higgs. But because we have Todo Chido here, Corey's not on camera or on
But
sound.
he's felt
You're felt
and
Yeah.
seen
And heard.
and loved.
like a white man, taking up too much space all the time. And if you see me like fan myself, I don't give a fuck, okay? Because it is warm. It is starting to warm up. I'm really rethinking how I make everyone wear these thick ass sweatshirts. Okay, so we're gonna trade that out. Oh, and then of course, no, we gotta be like Brandon.
Yeah.
What do you want to shout out this week?
We recently had a guest on our podcast who shared some knowledge with me that I really liked, where she talked about how she thinks joy is a form of resistance.
Yes.
And I really like that. So shout out to that. I think joy is a form of resistance. So when it comes to like hard times or, protesting things you disagree with or want to stand up against, I think joy is a form of resistance.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do have a little. I do have like a asterisk on that though.
Yeah.
Because I feel that.
Yeah.
And we like to spread that good wisdom
Yeah.
around. Joy is a form of resistance.
Yeah.
People also say rest is a form of resistance. You've
Yeah.
heard this, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you have to think about who is being joyful and who is resting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay? Because in my opinion, I don't want my enemies, the villains in this world, to be
Joyful
resting or joyful.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I just feel like that's one thing. Also, like I don't know if you know this, but prior to working in comedy, actually my first career was in politics.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So I worked for nonprofits in LA and Little Tokyo, and then
Wow.
I worked for a labor union that
Mm.
represents public employees. So the
Wow.
big Service Employees
Mhm.
International Labor
Mhm.
Union.
Mhm.
You might know people who are county workers or whatever,
Mhm.
who are represented by
Yeah.
SCIU. So I was a labor organizer.
Yeah.
And so I've been like a lifelong student body president type person. All right.
Yeah.
My ass is making agendas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am planning group projects.
Yeah.
All right. And then there's the rest of the people who in the high school group project don't do shit.
Mm.
All
True.
right.
Yeah.
True.
And the people who don't do shit, they need to step up.
Mhm.
That's true.
For them, rest is not resistance.
Yeah.
They got to do more because they are the slackers that mooch off of us,
Yeah.
the
That's true.
doers,
That's
the
true.
vacation planners, the brunch
Mhm.
planners. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Yeah. No, I see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear
I
that
just,
out,
I think
yeah.
we got to clarify because yes, joy is resistance.
Yeah.
So everyone should have joy. I do believe that. That is a human right.
Mhm.
And some people are allowed to have more joy than others. So let's not,
That's true.
But rest, some people do not deserve rest. That's all I'm saying, okay? I just want to clarify
You're
that.
staying up at night.
Exactly.
About what they're doing.
Losing
They
sleep.
they should see
sleep.
Yeah.
exactly. They should see no peace.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay. Corey, I heart you. That's just a random shout out to Corey.
Oh, that's
Aw.
cute.
Aw.
Very sweet.
My recommendation for
But-
the week is having a partner like Corey.
But now you have to name somebody you hate.
What?
You said you love him, so now you got to name somebody.
This is my show. I don't gotta do shit.
All right, my bad. You're right. You're right.
This is the positivity section.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the rest of it can be depressing.
I didn't mean
Okay,
to push.
okay.
No. You're so respectful. I really appreciate you. Yeah, my recommendations for the week. Honestly, I'm just really grateful that y'all are here because y'all don't know me. We've never met. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, you guys want to come to my house and do a podcast? And you showed up.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. It's not on the agenda, but I wanted to make sure that like people who watch or listen get to know you a little bit. Because I just think what I really loved about your podcast and why I wanted to meet you is it's fucked up, but like, it's like, I could tell you're like local LA kids, number one. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so many podcasters, people with microphones are not like local LA people.
Yeah.
If they don't work for, say, like a local media
Yeah.
Mhm.
station.
Right.
So when I saw your material somehow on social media, I was like, who is this? And I think they're talking about LA. Wait a minute. Turns out you're like in Northeast LA like me.
Yeah.
So
That
you're
was
local,
crazy,
local.
yeah.
Like I was like, yes, you know? And I also really appreciated that like you talked about your like identity stuff, your family stuff, as well as like political stuff. And with that kind of mix, I was like, that's perfect for this podcast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I felt the same way when I saw your stuff. I was like, I
Aw.
feel like we have the same attitude about things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like sometimes things can be funny. Sometimes things can be serious, political,
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Yes.
So I felt like we were a perfect match.
Aw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. But y'all are more mellow than me. I'm more like
I think we have a spectrum here.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Definitely.
How would you describe the spectrum?
Probably more
Energetic.
energetic.
Yeah.
Loud.
Loud.
That's
She's
what
like
I did.
annoying.
Obnoxious.
Wow, keep going.
That's what I did.
Dirty.
Bruh.
But well, okay. Between the two of you, who would you say is the most muted, like the most relaxed between the two of you? Because I think you guys both have your moments where you guys can be very like quiet and muted.
You're both very calming to me, by the way.
I just feel like I've always gotten people always say I'm just really chill.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm like,
I agree.
okay.
You.
So,
I feel like I can match anybody's vibe.
All right.
Yeah.
mhm.
So-
Which is true.
Yeah.
You adapt.
Yeah. So maybe I'm in the middle. Yeah.
I like that. And so tell us, this is my recommendation for
Mhm.
the week is your podcast, basically. So that's why we're going to talk more about you.
Yeah.
How did you all get together prior to the podcast? How do you know each other?
Ooh, who's gonna tell the story?
So we're related.
Yeah.
He's my younger brother. I'm the
Mhm.
middle child. And then they've been friends since kindergarten.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So they've known each other
Cute.
since they were 5.
Yeah.
They don't remember how they met, but
Yeah. I've known him so long, I don't remember how I met him. Yeah.
yeah.
Just like any moment in my life I think about, he was there.
Yeah. Well, we've gone to the same school every year from kindergarten to college. Yeah.
Yeah, them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to the same middle school, elementary, high school, and college.
Unplanned too.
Yeah,
it just happened.
You sure about that?
yeah, genuinely.
Yeah, like honestly, well, maybe it's because we grew up together, but we had the same interest of like film and television, so we both went to Cal State Fullerton to pursue that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in high school, like it just happened geographically
Geographically.
between like both our houses, so we just
Yeah.
like chose to be.
If it was geologically, it would be you examining stones.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Okay. And then you didn't major in film or television.
No, and then I went to San Francisco State.
Yeah.
But since like Brandon's always just been around like Steve's life, I always just saw him at the house.
That's cute.
But it was funny because we didn't really like interact with each other.
Yeah, we kind of knew each other in passing.
Yeah, we just would like say hi.
Well, because
to
you're
each
like the
other.
younger, you're the
Yeah.
younger brother friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until COVID where the three of us started hanging out.
Yeah.
And Steve would always invite Brandon over and we would all just like hang out. And then that's just how it was for most of COVID. Like us just like hanging out with just us
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even really go with my friends because I was just like, I'm more of like a, what do you call it? Like an introvert.
Yeah.
So I was very like happy being at home and just
Right.
like chilling.
Comfy.
Yeah. And so then we kind of just started hanging out. And then one of my friends from college, he moved out here and he started working for like a radio podcast company over in like Clover City. And I invited him over because like he was coming to like visit and I had just heard that he was about to move.
Yeah.
And so then I invited him over and then it was like the four of us hanging out and we were basically just like talking about like stuff.
Yeah.
And then once he got hired and was here, he was like, oh, like we're trying to open up a Latinx like station because it was a black owned like radio podcast station.
Can you name it? What is it?
It was called TGN, so the Good News radio station.
Is it still
No,
existing?
it's not up anymore.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he told us about it and he was like, you guys should come on, like I'll get you guys an interview. Like I won't guarantee that you guys will, get a spot in the Latinx station, but I feel like you guys should like get a shot of it. And then,
That's awesome.
And then I told them about it and they're like, yeah, why not? Like we don't have much to lose. Like
And, and not only that, I remember distinctly feeling like some people would like die for an opportunity like that. And it would be like disrespectful and also just like insane to not at least just try, like go to the tryouts.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I don't know if she'll mention this, but like they put us on the radio in the interview.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And so we had kind of like our first testing of this, just like in our first interview. I guess we did really good because
yeah,
they really liked us.
Well, because we did the interview and like we basically presented them like what our show would be, what would we be about, and they instantly just really liked our vibe, like. And then that's when they like soon enough after the person who was interviewing us, she had her own show coming up. And she's like, why don't you guys be on my show and like we'll test it out. And we just started doing like a whole basically podcast radio on her show. And then we still did like a second interview, but that interview was mostly just them telling them that we got a spot.
Right. So you got a spot.
Yeah, so we got a spot. We did that for like a year and a half.
Is that the version where it looked like it was inside of a studio?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, we were there for a while, and then we were like, I think we should try to do this on our own. And then that's when we were like, we have our own spot, like where we can do our own studio, we can decorate it. We came up with a concept of like the school because even though they went in the same schools, I still went in the same schools until high school. And so we were like, oh, since we all went to the same schools, like why not make it school themed?
Yeah.
And so then that's what we did. And then
I like the set dressing. You're sitting at like those like school tables.
Yeah, the school desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that, and then that's kind of just how we ended up doing the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think what really interested me about it visually was number one, you're Latinx and younger. So I was like, oh, okay, like a little Gen Z, but you're like Zillennial kind of, Gen Z voice, local, Latinx, talking about everything. I'm like, you don't see this all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What kind of feedback have you gotten about the fact that you are who you are and you have this platform you built?
Oh, wow. Which side?
I feel like we all have different answers to that.
Yeah. Me and my sister have gotten recognized like in person. And I guess like now that we were doing it long enough, weirdly enough, I've had very powerful and like almost emotional responses to having the podcast. Like there was this one kid who told me that like as like somebody who grew up like who was like Latino and specifically like brown skin, like I felt like I never saw people like us or even just talk about our stories and our experience. And so once I started having consistently kind of interactions with real life people, some people that I've never even known, I think it kind of motivated me to keep going. Because I think when you're on the internet, you also are open to criticism.
Yeah.
And we definitely get a lot of that too. And I think for a moment there, that's kind of what I had thought was only out there. But then once people started recognizing me in person and giving us like the props and our flowers, I was like, oh wow, like this actually means something to people. Like, like it kind of shifted gears for me where I took it even more serious because I felt like I always took it serious, but that like elevated it to me that like, oh wow, no, this is something that like matters to people, and it just in general like leaves an impact on people, even if it's just for a few seconds watching like a TikTok. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it to me it's made me be both humble in the sense of like, okay, like I'm a voice, so I should be careful also with what I say. And second thing, it also just motivates me like, okay, maybe there's criticism, but I should continue to push forward because for some people this means a lot.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I feel like I've gotten a lot more impact, especially with a lot more women who
Mhm.
also just reach out.
Mhm.
I think the most impactful for sure was when we had a live show.
Yeah.
And we had one fan who came all the way from Georgia just to see
Oh
us.
yeah.
And she's
Shout out to
like,
her,
yeah,
yeah.
shout out to her because she was 18. She'd never been to LA.
Flew out by herself.
Flew out by herself.
Yeah.
And she only came to see us. Like she was leaving. She came in that morning, saw us that night, and left the next morning.
That's
And it was only
love.
she was mostly just dedicated to see us.
Did she
And
cry?
then, I don't think she cried.
She didn't
No,
cry,
but she was
very
super.
shy.
Yeah, she was shy, but she seemed very excited to meet us.
Yeah.
Like I think her goal was just to really meet us.
Yeah.
And she was the one who actually told us that the reason she wanted to meet us because the podcast really like impacted her in the fact of like where she's from. She says that she doesn't see a lot of like Latino representation.
Mm.
And where she lives, she doesn't really feel like she's being heard or seen.
Mhm.
And so when she listens to us in her car, she feels like she's being heard and seen.
Oh.
Because she's like, what you guys talk about is what I think about.
Yeah.
And I always felt like I was alone in like those situations. And to hear that you guys are speaking on this makes me feel less alone, especially where I'm from. And I feel like I always like carry that.
Yeah.
And I think especially like for myself, a lot of my friends and when I was in college, I also joined a sorority, and sometimes I do wear my letters on the show.
Mm.
So every once in a while, I'll be like working, or I'll even be at a festival, and like a sorority sister will come up to me and she'll be like, "Bro, what you're doing is so great. Like keep doing it." Like. And sometimes, you know, like people are in their emotions, like they're drinking and we're in a
Yeah.
festival.
I love you so much. And that means so much to me. Oh my God. What's your sorority name?
Sigma Lambda Gamma.
Sigma Lambda Gamma.
Gamma sisters.
Gamma sisters. You're a sister.
Yeah. No, yeah. They're always
So
telling
that's my
me
impression.
like
And scene.
Yeah, they're always like telling me like I should keep doing what I'm doing.
Ugh.
And like it's always just so nice to like hear it. Just because I think in the same way I'm always very self-critical.
Yeah.
And always like I feel like what I'm doing isn't the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can do more. Or like what I'm doing maybe isn't really like I don't know, it's just like there's no purpose to it.
Mhm.
But I think when I see that instantly from even like my own friends or just like strangers,
Mhm.
I think it makes me it gives me a lot more reason to keep doing what I'm doing or what like we're doing, because I can see the impact that it is making to people.
Yeah.
And I think what I for sure carry a lot is that we are the voice to the voiceless.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part, because I feel like I can tell that sometimes when people approach me is that they feel like they want to express this all the time, but they're always just afraid.
Yeah.
And I think for us to like do that, I think is especially what keeps motivating me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So for sure, I think that's something for me that I kind of just carry with this now.
That's beautiful. Shout out to the Georgia lady
Shout out.
and the sorority girl. I could just see them.
Yeah.
Trying
And
to
anyone in
love
general.
on you.
Anyone
Yeah.
anyone who's
Yeah,
been watching
everybody
us and is
watches us,
watching
yeah.
us now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. How about you? How about you?
Can you repeat the question? I want to make sure I answer
Oh
it
yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
Like, what has been the feedback that you've gotten
yeah.
around the podcast?
Yeah, so like obviously everything that they've said, and one thing that I like to that kind of sticks with me is like we do get a lot of pushback when it comes to like I've always gotten this feedback where people say, "Oh, like you guys are very political."
Oh really?
And I've always not taken offense to it, but I just never understood that because I feel like I don't think we are.
Yeah.
I think we just react to things
Yeah.
other than that. And I always find it interesting because I feel like when you go to stuff like Joe Rogan's podcast
Yeah.
or Logan Paul's podcast, they were at the inauguration, right? But nobody calls them political podcasts ever.
Right. Right.
But we kind of talk about things that affect us, right? Like
yeah.
Julie's a woman, and of
Yeah.
course things affect her. So I talk about it all the time that it's like I don't think we're political. I think it's just our existence has become political.
Yes.
And so I think that's something that I carries with me a lot. Is I feel like when people say that, I'm like, okay, well then people must not be talking about it for you to kind of be kind of reacting so like
Yeah.
in such a cagey kind of way.
Right.
So I like that because I mean I like it and I don't. I don't like it in the sense of like because I'm like, what are you guys so afraid of?
Mhm.
But I like it in the sense of I'm like, well, if nobody's gonna say something, at least we'll say something.
Yeah.
You know, so I do enjoy that.
Well, good. It's good that you enjoy it because some people are afraid of talking about things that are like political, quote unquote,
Yeah.
when it's just natural things that happen in your life
Yeah.
or like the way the like things that happen in the world affect you.
Yeah.
People are afraid of that. I just
Yeah.
had my mom on for the first time as a guest.
Mm.
And I like asked her, I know she watches like Chinese language propaganda ass YouTube videos about the news. And I was just like, what do you think about Elon Musk or whatever, the Tesla guy?
Mm.
And she like moved, she doesn't even speak English, but she like moved the like microphone away. So I don't want to say that. And she was talking before. I would translate, you know?
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like people just
Yeah.
feel weird because they feel scared. And that's
Yeah.
like a problem.
Yeah.
I also don't want to talk about politics. Are you kidding me? I would
Yeah.
love to just like make dick jokes
Oh, for
and
sure.
exist.
Yeah.
But here we are
Yeah.
having a voice that
exactly.
matters.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like
Yeah.
a responsibility, you know?
Yeah.
Whether or not you
Yeah.
take that on, it's going to be put on you.
And I don't know if that's like always. I don't know if this has always been how things are, and maybe I've just gotten older. But I feel like in 2025, it's really hard to avoid certain topics that are just by nature political.
Yeah.
Because like it's just easily affecting like when people talk about how everything's expensive or like super
Yes.
simple stuff, or even like in on the agenda talk about AI, right? So you think about regulation and stuff, or you think about like people losing their job, right? We all work in entertainment, so we know the effects there. It's just I wonder if it's always been that way, if life is just so inherently political, or if now more than ever is it just like
Yeah.
unavoidable.
Yeah, I mean, we brought this up in one of our episodes where I was like, I feel like when people are like, I don't want to get political, and they just completely like dance around all these things.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. I feel like by not saying something, you're still saying something.
Of course.
You know, I feel like there's just no way around it.
Yeah.
I feel like to kind of dance around it is your way of saying something.
yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I feel like, what does it matter to
Yeah.
to just to put it out there? You know what you think, or because I think everybody should express their opinion on it. You know, it affects all of us, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I also have a special place in my heart for people who podcasting is a form of entertainment,
Yeah.
who do media, who are from LA. Because I grew up in Torrance. And so because I work in entertainment, Hollywood or whatever, you meet people and people always like to talk shit like, no one's from here. It's like, fool, it's because you're a transplant.
yeah,
And all you make friends with are transplants. I was like, there's millions of us who grew up here and care about LA, you know? And so anytime I also like see y'all, like, I was like, they fucking grew up here. Talk about LA the way that they grew up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it means something to me because so many podcasts, so many people decide that their voice is worth recording who are not from LA.
Yeah.
And they'll talk about LA or they'll talk about whatever, or they're comedians and they want a podcast. And yeah, so that's why everyone should follow Todo Chido.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Just to add on to what you're saying, I think that like, if people come from out of state and want to make a name here, like, I don't think that's anything inherently bad. But I think my
Agreed.
problem is kind of this disrespectful or ignorant kind of attitude that they bring of like, oh, I'm the one who's from LA, and therefore my voice matters more.
Yeah.
When like I think that's just very disrespectful to people who have been here and families have been
For
here,
sure.
have shaped the culture,
Yes.
have made it like this beautiful place that now people want to come and kind of like,
Yeah,
prosper and enjoy.
yeah,
And so I think that that's okay. You can come here and want to make a name for yourself, but I think you should really respect those who have been here and respect just kind of like the fact that you are a visitor.
Yeah.
yeah,
People don't care about that. I mean, people like to online local folks will bully gentrifiers, quote unquote. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And be like, shut up, gentrifier.
yeah,
Which is funny, but it's also like, there's degrees. I feel like there's a spectrum. Like, I'm from Torrance and I moved to Northeast LA, a while ago. And, shit was dicier. There was more tagging. There was more like whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like what you did because I used to work in nonprofits. I used to work in politics. And even though we weren't making tons of money at first, it was like, oh, this is like a neighborhood. We like a neighborhood. You know what I mean? Because there's like different cute neighborhoods in Northeast LA, right?
Yeah.
That like some people don't associate with their idea of Hollywood or LA.
Yeah.
That's like walkable or public transportation. Like that's why I like chose like the old Highland Park place I used to live at.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. I'm low key a gentrifier probably because I have both gentrifier taste as well as like local taste.
Yeah.
I'm here with you, so that makes you a gentrifier.
I mean, honestly, listen, fucking white Asian couple here. Classic gentrifier couple. But it's different though. It's different. When I moved from Taiwan when I was 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We first moved to Rosemead.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Walnut Grove. That's how my mom would say it. Walnut Grove. I don't know how the fuck they say it in Chinese. Walnut Grove. And there's a lot of Asians that grew up in the San Gabriel Valley who might have white partners.
Might or might not.
Isn't that a statistic now? That's the most common interracial
Yes!
couple? Yeah.
I joke with my friend that is like Asian and white that
Yeah.
I'll never be seen in public with them as two couples together. Can't do it. Definitely not like in Chinatown. You know what I'm saying? Not in any like little Tokyo. Silver Lake, fucking Silver Lake, Los Feliz, dime a dozen. What's that?
Go up to the bay, we're covered.
Oh my God, the Bay Area is so gross. I would say obviously there's tons of hardcore gentrification in LA, but because LA is so big, it's like, not as intense as say San Francisco or New York. I don't know how much time y'all have spent in San Francisco or New York, but because they're like cities so compact, you feel it. Like I've been visiting New York and San Francisco for years, maybe decades.
Yeah.
And it's like wild. And then just recently, this is not a topic, but it's all kind of with this, like, there was this coverage, New York Magazine did a thing about the West Village girls. So in New York, if you're not familiar, West Village is like fucking, it used to be like just a dank, creative, gay-ass neighborhood. That's like the history of it. And it's like what you're saying, like the reason why people go to New York is because there's the local subculture, the local culture is what makes it fucking cool. And then you show up and now it's turned into like a North Carolina sorority fraternity frat party.
Yeah.
With everyone wearing the little like preppy ass clothing, having, Aperol spritzes. That's the stereotype now because West Village has gentrified so much and they're all like influencers and they're just like, let me show you my favorite places to get matcha. It's like very that. And then to me, that's like, LOL, I'm not a New Yorker, but it's like, damn, sucks for you. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
It's funny. I used to be way harsher too on people who came from out of state in the city, but when I met my girlfriend, she's not from here. She's from up in North Cal, and
that's gonna do it. Fall in love with someone not from
we
here.
were talking about it, and like she's Mexican, so we relate a lot. But
so you're still keeping it real.
Yeah, well, so we still keep it real. But she did tell me once, she was like, it just sucks sometimes because the locals don't really like accept you, so you have no choice but to make friends with other people who aren't from there.
Right.
So it did kind of make
real.
me a little bit softer too. Like I can understand it.
Oh,
but I still, like I said, what I said stands. I think you need to respect the culture that is already here.
Yeah.
And kind of try and play by those rules rather than make up your own.
Yeah, I just think it's different, because when you grow up in LA, even where I was, it was like majority not white, And so you guys look like the kids I grew up with,
Yeah. It feels that way that we're talking right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it does?
I could feel the LA spirit.
Oh, I love that. People from New York think I'm from New York because I'm fucking uptight or some shit.
Or New York,
or just anxious. Yes. Or like I walk fast and they're like, "Are you from New York?" I'm like, "No."
I always see they're always like super fashioned up, like so.
No, they dress up more.
Like,
No, for sure. No, I have both sides in me. You know what I mean? I remember showing up in college. I went to school on the East Coast, very nerdy, small liberal arts college. And it was like fall semester, freshman year. I haven't really adjusted, I did like buy warm clothes. But one of the first weekends in like September, October, where it was like raining, I don't know what I was doing. I was just wearing like a hoodie, like my high school hoodie with like my volleyball shorts that are like, they look like jogging shorts. And then like slippers. Nothing else, right? Not even socks, just like slippers. And I'm like walking around, my feet are getting wet, and everyone was staring at me. I was like, what? And I was like, man, shut up. And then finally someone was like, why are you wearing shorts with a sweatshirt? I was like, shut up, fool. I'm from South Bay. This is what we do. Okay? In the South Bay, when you live in the beach cities, in the morning, it's cold.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then it gets warm. And then you always got to have a sweatshirt with you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. They don't know. Whatever.
That's LA. All right.
No one needs to wear a wool sweatshirt here.
Yeah, never.
No.
Sorry.
And yet.
And
Yeah,
this
we're
is
all-
not wool.
God damn it.
This is full cotton. Yeah, no. So I appreciate your voices. It's like, it's so special. I love it. I love it. Because, yeah, otherwise it's just like all white dudes,
Yeah.
all like random comedians.
Yeah.
Sigma podcast. Do you know what I'm talking about? Kind of
Oh!
like
Like is that a manosphere bro
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah.
Sigma. Ugh.
Yeah.
I could just
Yeah.
guess. Sigma's a whole thing, like corporate speak. They like to say use Sigma, and
Oh, really?
Really?
Delta. I don't know.
Sigma is just like so you know how there's this whole idea of like animals have the alpha male.
Yeah.
So this is even greater than that. There's the Sigma male now.
Yeah.
So that's what we
Barf.
yeah, no, I say it like kind of poking fun at those podcasts.
Well, I'm a Sigma female.
There you go.
Don't do that. It's on the red pill.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Listen.
It was just funny to me because, again, how I said I was in a sorority.
Yeah.
So hearing that, I always just heard Greek letters.
Totally.
So I was just like, where is this all coming from? Like, what does this all mean? Like, yeah.
We could keep going. We're going to cover some more of this stuff, but I'm just so happy you're here. Number one, podcast updates. There's not really many I know we've just spent most of
40
it.
minutes in.
No,
Number one.
this is my yeah, 40 minutes in, number one. Now this is my podcast. We get to do whatever the fuck I want.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Number one, podcast updates. There's really not much to say other than I'm doing my process. I'm logging the official podcast episodes, and then I'll get my shit together and do more of a marketing push. But for now, I've been slowly and steady growing in followers, subscribers, as well as paid subscribers. So thank you always. And that's it. That's it.
We'll see
Oh,
you
we
guys
got-
next time.
I know, right? Goodbye. No. We have some really fun guests coming up. We got Margaret Cho. We got Larry Wilmore. We got Maria Bamford. It's happening. Oh, yeah. Yay.
Snaps, yeah.
Yeah.
Number two, this is a continuation of our conversation. Being first generation and breaking the cycle. Y'all suggested this. You wanted to talk about that, plus being able to freely choose yourself. Let's talk about that. Because number one, I love finding out that Brandon here, you shared with me before we started rolling that
My mom's Chinese, yeah. 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 Nice.
cousin,
Yeah, exactly.
my Chino Latino.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People like to call me Chino Latina sometimes.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And by people, that only me. I call
Yeah.
that myself.
Yeah.
No one else is saying it.
Self-claimed.
So do you speak Cantonese or Mandarin?
I speak Mandarin. I grew up speaking Mandarin
Ah.
at home.
Yeah.
And then, you just grew up in LA, so you kind of learn some Spanish. And then I studied Spanish. So that's why it's a Chino Latino situation.
Yeah.
I went to grad school at UCLA and studied the full like year-round classes to like finish undergrad Spanish, and then I did a study abroad in
Yeah.
Chile,
Oh.
and I learned how to like fucking write essays and shit.
Oh.
So I'm more formal Spanish than like
Okay.
like I could do conversational, but like if you like throw out like slang, I actually learned Spanish because I wanted to go into the labor movement
Mm.
in LA, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
well, my ass needs to fucking speak Spanish, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I know how to do like podemos contar con su voto, you know,
Okay.
like talk about political things, like can
Yeah.
we count on your vote, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what
Wow.
that's what's
Yeah,
up,
Very cool.
cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, my grandma spoke Cantonese, but I never picked it up.
So your grandma spoke Cantonese, and
Yeah.
your mom
don't
is full Chinese.
She's half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's Asian.
Oh,
Yeah.
so she's Chinese and
White.
what white? Do you know?
Spanish, I think.
Oh, so white Hispanic on the census.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never picked it up from my grandma.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I tried, but she never really
That's how like Latino folks mess up the weird race system in America.
Yeah.
we've always like between the all of us, we've messed up the black and white race system in America.
Yeah.
Because when even the Irish, when they showed up, because we had a whole sinners conversation. My
Yeah.
friend Dolly Lee was the Chinese cultural consultant, and we had a whole sinners conversation. It highlights the context of it is that it was so black and white, and then when the Chinese people showed up, they were like, "I don't know what you are, so we're just gonna call you colored."
Mm.
I don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then even the Irish, all the different ethnic whites,
Yeah.
they were considered not fully
Like
white.
the lowest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, listen, it's all messed up. But
Yeah.
we all mess up the race
Yeah,
system.
definitely.
Because there are white Latinos.
Mhm.
There are
Mhm.
darker Latinos, black
Yeah.
Latinos. Yeah. I don't know why we're talking about this. We're talking about being first generation. So tell me about your first generationness. Like, I was born in Taiwan. I went to Rosemead, then Hawthorne, then really grew up in Torrance. My mom was a garment worker, factory person. She learned Spanish actually before me because of the garment factory. And then my dad, we moved to LA because he was like a mid-level manager, paper pusher for the cargo division, cargo security in China Airline.
Oh wow.
So we had to live near LAX.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But what's your sort of immigration story background?
Me, I'm not first generation.
Yeah.
I just learned that but I heard first generation also counts to college. Yeah, or I
You
don't
could
know.
say first generation for college, meaning no one
Yeah.
else in your family has
Yeah,
gone to
I
college.
think that's me.
Yeah, first generation
But
college.
in
But you were
terms of-
born here.
Yeah, I was born here. Both my parents were born here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's them breaking the cycles.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm breaking 0 cycles.
Yeah,
No, yeah. Well, this was my, because we kind of all chose a thing, and this was just mine because it was funny. I went to my hairstylist because she was redying my blue hair.
And the hair looks amazing, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Wow.
Thank you. Shout out to my hairstylist. So we were just like talking about it because we generally were talking about like the climate of society.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about because she's like married and she's thinking about having kids. But she's going into kind of like this situation of like whether she wants to have them because of the the current environment that
Yeah.
we're in, the political state of everything. Everything's really expensive, and then do you really want to bring a child, into this type of environment?
Totally.
And then I kind of presented her the thing of like I've been in this area where I'm like I don't even know if I want to even get married.
Mhm.
More because of just stuff that's also happening in the news with like women also losing, starting to hear about women losing their rights of voting because of some type of act that they're trying to create, where it's like they're trying to do just a one person household where it'll just be the man. And just like all that type of stuff that I think has really put me into that. But I think something that really stood out that she said is that for us specifically as being, women and being, the first women to be born here. My mom was born in Mexico and then they moved here.
Mhm.
So for us, it's like at least we freely have that choice, to be like, no, I don't want to have kids, or I do want to have kids. Because I mean, for the both of us, we grew up with our moms who didn't really have that choice. It was kind of
Yeah.
just forced on them to, either get married, have kids, be stay-at-home moms. And for us, we finally have kind of that free will to expand. Like for her, like she's like, I don't have to be working, at home or like at the factories. Like I can work and do what I love, which is hair. And I told her, I was like, yeah, I can do what I love, which is like podcasting or working in events and sports.
Mhm.
Like I had that freedom of like choosing something that was more artistic in
Yeah.
a sense. And I think that was just something that really stood out to me. That I guess currently is going on because I feel like sometimes I think about it too deeply where I feel like I'm, again, how I say, like, I'm very harsh with myself of like, no, I can't do this. I'm not allowed to do this. But I think I think the positive side of that is thinking about like, I am able to do this because like my parents did a lot for me to have that choice, like for the both of us, to
Yeah.
have that choice, to be able to choose whatever avenue that we want to, choose whatever we want to do with our lives.
Yeah.
It just sucks that this is the environment that we are in, right? Where, specifically for me, where it's since I'm a woman and I'm a brown woman, that it's a lot harder to kind of choose myself and choose to be free because there's a lot of things that are being stripped away from me.
Mhm.
But I think that was like the big thing that I was kind of presenting this topic with was that I have that freedom to still choose and still break that cycle of like what my parents kind of went through, especially more thinking about my mom.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like just what I kind of presented in that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because if I'm hearing you right, there was an expectation of your mom's generation to get married and have kids.
Yeah.
And you're saying maybe I don't have to follow that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because we even one time we talked about it, and I said that when I turned 25, I felt like I broke sort of the cycle of making it to 25 and I don't have any kids.
Yeah.
And like even the stereotype, right, of like Latinas and Mexicans is that everybody would get pregnant at 15,
Yeah.
right? Like that was like a very old stereotype.
Yeah.
And then for me, like I hit 25 and like I'm not married, I don't have kids, like, and to me that was like my accomplishment, but to my family that was sort of a disappointment
Wow.
of like I'm not sort of like established in a family or having kids, right? And so then that's why for me I was like, okay, like that's me breaking that cycle of like I still want to live, my life. Like I'm not saying that like if you're married or have kids at 25, like that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think that's your choice, but I think
Right.
for other people that's like that's not what they want to do, or like that's just not part of I guess their story. And so yeah, that was kind of I guess for me breaking that, because I feel like again, like with my mom, she was always like, when are you gonna like have kids, or when are you like gonna get married? And for a while like I wasn't even dating. And so then for me I was kind of like, well, that's not really what I see for myself yet.
And how does she
But
react?
she was just more like, no, like she's very more of like, I'm getting old, like I'm not even gonna be able to like carry your kids. And for me that was like a big pressure, because it's like I want you to see like my kids, right? Like I want you to like be a part of my family. Like I want my dad to like in a sense like walk me down, right, the aisle whenever I get married. And so I was just like having that pressure was just like a lot.
Yeah. I hate that pressure for you. It's hard because your parents have a different set of values,
Yeah.
and you're trying to form your own values, and it butts up against what they want for you.
Yeah.
Honestly, what they want for you is just like what they want for themselves, no?
And I feel like in a sense, because I feel like for sure a lot of it was that I think they genuinely wanted to be grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And I never took it in like a bad thing. Like I never resented them for them.
Yeah.
Like they're not like they're amazing parents. But I feel like I think to them the value was family. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for them they see that as like you'll feel the most ultimate love through family.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, like I found love in other ways. Like I found them in different things that I've done in life.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of where it was coming from. But I think now that I think just everything is progressing, like things are changing, I think there's just different ways to find that. And I think that for them, it was more of like, it was just a surviving thing for them of
Right.
like, finding your family, finding your sort of like place in that.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it didn't seem that way as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, yeah, for sure, sometimes it felt like it was more for them, more than for me. But again, like, I think I never held that against them. Like, I understood. I think I
Yeah.
understood where they were coming from. And
Yeah. May I ask what your parents did or do for a living?
my dad is a technician, and then my mom works with him.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay. A technician.
Yeah.
What is he technical about?
So he's like, he does like smog checks, like for
Oh,
cars.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, mechanic stuff.
hmm
Okay, great. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when your parents are immigrants,
hmm
they came here, they're fucking struggle city, right? Just working really hard just to make ends meet, or I'm
Yeah.
assuming, right?
hmm
Or even just like honestly, it doesn't even matter like what level of job they're at.
hmm
When they come from an old country, they're gonna be like, this only costs this much back in whatever,
Yeah.
and then that's gonna make them feel a certain way about like how everything's so expensive in America. At least that's how my parents felt,
hmm
And I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, it's so hard. I used to speak more at like colleges and universities,
hmm
and it's usually Asian American students, or it could be a general audience, and
Yeah.
usually like the message I would tell them would always be around this, like this feeling that you have right now of
Mhm.
feeling like Do I disappoint my parents? Do I betray their values because I'm choosing myself? Is it either or?
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing I feel like I had to go through as a young adult, you know?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you won't see any peace. The sooner you have some kind of peace around it and you like kind of figure it out,
Yeah.
the better, you know? Do you feel like how at peace are you with how you've been
With
living your
like,
life?
I feel like I think I've been doing really well. I just feel like I think for sure a lot of just other stuff, I like outer stuff, not family stuff,
Yeah.
has been more of that pressure than and again I think I feel like I put the pressure on myself. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it's really coming from anywhere.
Right.
I think it genuinely is myself because of
Ugh,
just the way that I feel like I grew up.
totally.
And I think like I think about like work and like my relationship, and I feel like I generally feel like the only pressure that's coming is from me
yeah.
and no one else.
Ugh, are you the eldest daughter?
No, I'm the middle child, but I'm the only girl.
You know those TikToks, they're talking about eldest daughters and what we have to go through. I'm the youngest of 3, but I'm the only daughter. And when we moved to America, they were like 10 and 9 years older than me. So I learned English fastest,
Okay.
you know? And so I became very quickly a little translator, you know what I'm saying? Just like with way more responsibility.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Girls just sometimes are asked to do more and carry more of the weight. Like guys, I feel like they'll be asked to like be outstanding or achieve in certain ways, but like in doing like a lot of social labor or home labor, it's like a lot of the women get asked to do that.
Yeah, well, because I've talked about it even on the podcast of like, I think it was the first few episodes where we talked about it where like my brothers were allowed to play video games, but I had to be outside like helping serve everybody with my mom. But then I would get in trouble if I just wanted to hang out with my brothers.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
That's funny. Literally in the podcast, exactly that happened. I remember Brandon looked at me and he's like, bro, it's like, I was probably like 5 years old. I'm younger.
Yeah, he was like the youngest, right? So yeah, it was funny because yeah, Brendan did the same thing. Yeah.
No, this is so important. I feel like we could get into the being first generation and breaking the cycle for the whole episode.
Yeah.
Listen, we don't have to cover none of these other topics, but we will. We will. What do y'all think about this topic? Y'all have any feelings or reactions to what Julyssa's saying?
I was gonna say Julie. Brandon?
I mean, I can't relate in the way that like she can relate, but I've always found a relation in the way that I feel like I'm multicultural.
Yeah.
And since we all went to the same school, which was like down the street from here.
Don't tell people where I live.
Yeah, like it was like 10 minutes here. There's maybe like 50 kids in the entire school.
Oh,
it was
wow.
a very small school, but very Mexican.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I did not look it. I didn't look any Mexican at all. I looked very Asian.
Really?
Very big cheeks, bowl cut.
Bowl cut.
Yeah. I didn't plan it either.
I can see it. I can see it.
And then when I
It's
smile,
the texture, bro. It's the texture of the hair.
Exactly.
It just naturally falls into a bowl cut. It's like we pop out the womb, just like bing.
Yep, exactly. So I think that's always been hard for me to navigate because I don't think because I think being multicultural it's not completely new, but I think the commonality of it is a little new.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like growing up with that, I was very confused at navigating that, and it wasn't until I got older that I had the vocabulary and the awareness of what was going on.
Yeah.
To kind of articulate like how I felt, because like I thought it was always strange when people would be like, "Well, what are you?" I never really had an answer because
how rude is that?
Yeah,
that
right?
shit is rude as hell.
Yeah, because well, I was like this with my grandma. She was very
speaking Cantonese.
No, she never spoke it to me. But
she spoke English.
Yeah, but she could speak it very well.
Yeah.
But like seeing this or even that reminds me of her a lot. And so when hanging out with her a lot, I would always be like, well, I guess I'm Chinese, right? Like I hang out with my grandma all the time. This is my grandma. But then my dad is Mexican.
Right.
So I'd be like, well, I guess I'm Mexican. You know,
You're all of it.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I got older that I was like, oh, I guess I am all of it. But I think when you're a kid or like kids in general will really try to like box you into stuff.
Yeah.
I think people in general try to box you into stuff. So I think in that respect, I can relate to being like the first of something. But yeah.
What are you is the worst.
Yeah, definitely.
I think what I have to say is that definitely I think me and my sister have always been close. Like honestly, we've always been close. We've never really had strains. Of course, like brother and sister, I think we've had like fights every now and then, but never anything too serious where I didn't talk to her for a few years. The only time that I guess I didn't talk to her for a few years is just when she went off to college. But this is just all to say that I think that we definitely did experience things differently because of she was she's a woman and I'm a man. So I
Yeah.
definitely do think that growing up I did see the unfairness of like or even just the way right now, just hearing you speak, I think definitely there was kind of this pressure on you that I feel like I don't feel as much as a man, but I know it's full heartedly because I'm a man. Because I think, at least in Mexican culture, I think, yeah, it's true. I think success for women is measured in kind of the family aspect of whether or not they're a mother or a wife. And
Yeah.
I think for a man, you're kind of just expected to work and like be successful and make money. And since all I ever had to do was get a job, I never felt like I was failing too much. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily see it as a good thing because I don't think that it's obviously fair that like my sister has this kind of social pressure and family pressure. Because I just wish that you could experience the world through me is the most that I can say. Is that I really wish that that's what I could do, and I think it matters
You mean a
because
carefree man?
yeah, yeah, I
What
really
are you
do.
gonna
I
do?
really.
What are you gonna do to support her? Okay, that's my question to you, brother.
Mm, I make her laugh.
Yeah.
Defend her when if any drama comes up around family stuff.
I always do.
Yeah.
That's good.
I always do.
Oh, y'all are supportive.
Yeah, and we do this podcast together, right?
Yeah.
I wish I was closer with my siblings.
It's interesting, I guess, because this is obviously on a tangent, but me and my sister have always been really close, and we get told a lot that a lot of people wish they were closer with their siblings.
Yeah, it's not as normal. Corey's very close with his sister.
Best friend.
Oh, cool.
Even though she hasn't called me in weeks.
Wow. Yeah, you were
That's-
the microphone. The microphone caught up on that. Why are you pointing to Julyssa?
Because I just feel like that's literally how our kind of our sense of humor.
Yeah.
One time, sometime I'll be like, I'll text her and I'll be like, "Oh, are you working today?" And she'll be like, "Nah." I was like, "Oh, really? Like, or so like, are you going out with your friends or anything?" And then she'll just respond with, "You could just tell me you miss me and you want to hang out."
Aww.
Yeah.
Don't be shy about it.
No, yeah. But it was just funny because like when people are like, "Oh, I wish I was close to my siblings," we generally were always like, "I thought people were."
I
Like,
No.
really did think
like,
people were.
It's not normal, bro.
yeah.
I did think people were.
It's not.
Yeah. Or like in just like not as close as us, but at least like they talk to each other or like every once in a while like they'll have some sort of conversation, but then you hear people being like, "No, I generally don't
Yeah.
talk to them at all." And I'm like, "Oh."
Listen. Good for you. Good for you. I appreciate you bringing this up. But this we could do the whole. Listen, we were already 1 hour in, but fuck it, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, we have a couple. If you want to listen more, we have a couple episodes that
Yeah, talk about this. Yeah,
it
that's why you
is
should
a
follow.
it really is a thick topic.
Yeah.
I know.
Nice plug. Nice plug.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good.
It's all the lob.
Number three. Number three. I just want to throw this out here. We could just do quick hits on these. Did you know that 10-year-old girls are shopping in Sephora?
Mhm.
No, I
Do you know
I-
about
I
this?
did.
I didn't, but my girlfriend was talking to me that a lot of girls are starting to dress and act a little bit more grown up.
Ooh, it's scary. I get scared.
Would you guys agree as women?
I feel like, well, I had brought this up to them, but we were just like, is it just us getting old? Because
Mhm,
but I had because when I had presented it, again, like I work in sports, and sometimes they bring schools. Sometimes they bring like middle schools or high schoolers just to come.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have like college nights.
Yeah.
So they'll have college tables there for students specifically to like just see, and then they get to watch the game, right? And some of them are just dressed in like, makeup or like have crop tops or like belly button rings. And I'm just like, I feel like my generation didn't look like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's also just the way I grew up, because my mom didn't let me wear makeup until I was at least making it to like I don't know, my junior year of like high school.
Yeah.
And so then that's why for me I was like, some of them are like freshmen, like some of them are like middle schoolers, and they have like all this makeup, And then I had been seeing like on TikTok that a lot of the girls like will actually start trying on the makeup in, like Sephora or
Yeah.
like Target, and like they'll open it up. And I'm like, no one ever really did that either. Like
Yeah.
that isn't a thing where you can just like open the thing or like mess everything up that's, put in the sections.
Yeah. Apparently because of social media and young
Mhm.
girls being able to see like get ready with me's, and it's such a deep part of internet
Mhm.
culture,
Mm-hmm.
putting on makeup while you talk about anything, and maybe you're not even giving tutorials about makeup.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna like creep into
Mhm.
people's brains because they want to emulate
Yeah.
these really pretty girls.
Yeah, I've also seen like sometimes on my For You page, like a little girl will come up and she's like, "Get ready with me," like while I go to like 4th grade, and like she's putting on like, yeah, like she's
No,
putting
not
on,
4th grade.
she's putting on like toner, and like she's putting on like a whole bunch of like
I
moisturizer,
can't.
and I'm just like, I don't know, because a lot of people also argue that like the stuff that they put on their face is also just really bad because a lot of it is made for like older women.
Yes.
And so then they mess up like, just hormones. Like a lot of
Yes.
them are still going through puberty or haven't even hit puberty, and
Totally.
like and that's where they get acne, and it's just part of like your teenage years.
4th grade is bleak. That is dark.
Yeah, so so that's why I'm like, I don't know, to me, I guess there's a lot going on with it. And it was funny because I was at the mall, and like, I don't know, she was probably like 12, and her dad was like, "Why do you want to go to Sephora? Like, what are you gonna buy?" But I don't think he was like complaining. He was just like, "Oh, like, what are you gonna get?" Like, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get like this like makeup that I like saw on TikTok." And I'm just like, that's so funny, like
Yeah.
to like hear like just little kids, I guess little girls get like, or like just kids in general, get like makeup, because and especially Sephora, because I think Sephora is just really, really expensive.
It's expensive. It's not like you're just going to CVS.
Yeah, or like Target sometimes, or like
Yeah.
anything, like I guess drugstore, right? To
Yeah.
like quote how exactly
Cheaper.
the term. Yeah.
Cheaper drugstore makeup.
Yeah.
Not even that. I know Sephora, that shit is expensive. If I was doing a 4th grade, get ready with me, it'd be me like, get ready with me as I go to the 4th grade. And it'll be like me putting stickers on my backpack.
Yeah.
Wrapping my books with like cute little cartoon things.
Mhm.
I didn't know about moisturizer till the 7th grade, y'all.
Yeah.
My mom is from a subtropical climate. We did not care about fucking lotion.
2 years ago, when you were yelling about putting moisturizer on.
It's because you're a man. You're a straight man from the Midwest who has fortunately pretty good skin, and unfortunately that's gonna catch up with you. So you gotta wear SPF.
I be telling my boyfriend that he should wear more sunscreen because he's
you.
getting like, I'm like, you're gonna get more wrinkly, and he's like, no. And I'm like,
Anyway, guys, listen. We don't have to get into it too much. You got any hot takes on this? I mean,
The Google new AI.
I mean, we're still on number 3.
Oh,
But
okay,
I just
okay.
want to throw out there. Part of how this came up was because apparently there's a new book by Sarah Wynne Williams called Careless People, and it's been discussed because in it she talks about Facebook and how allegedly Facebook would do this thing. It broke in 2017, where if a young girl deletes multiple selfies from her Facebook or Instagram, they would switch some algorithm to feed targeted beauty ads to this young girl.
Yeah.
I think I heard about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a thing.
Yeah.
Some sinister.
That
Yeah.
feels
It
so
is.
dark and sinister,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where you're like, oh, great. Let's prey on the insecurities in a very specific way. I'm telling you, I have bought things off of Instagram because the targeted ads knew me way too well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yes, I do want organic panties, organic cotton underwear. I do want that because that is who I am.
Yeah.
I guess it's like it's really weird because I think now more than ever do I feel like you feel the capitalism like in the United States, where I feel like it's definitely almost intentional that little girls are starting to dress older.
Yeah.
Because I think that obviously kids don't have the ability to spend their money, but if you really target them and really make them want to like at least ask their parents or have this drive, like maybe I'll get a job. It like builds the economy. It just gets money flowing. I think at
Yes,
the end
I
of the day,
agree.
like money rules everything in the United States.
Yeah.
So I totally think like
Cream.
that's insane though.
Cream.
That is
Cash
really
rolls everything
insane.
around me. Cream, get the money.
Yeah.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. No, 100%. It is the rapacious hunger of capitalism that it is ever expanding. It's ever needs to consume and have more consumers, more markets. How do you open markets? Let's open more markets. How do we crack into markets? So it's going to be like, let's lower the age of people feeling like they need beauty products to look beautiful. When in the end, older people are trying to look young. The young people want to look old. And now everyone looks like they're 40.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. Just today we were watching a game show and this woman stood up, very made up and nice. But I looked at her, I was like, huh. And then they're like 29 years old. I was like, where is the 29-year-old? That's the joke, how like apparently Gen Z looks older or some shit and millennials look younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Anyway.
I've heard of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard that. My hot take is I feel like I've said this on the podcast. I've never wanted to become the old man who's just hating on the younger generation.
For real.
Yeah, I think it's so easy. But I think the
You're not that old. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Wow, this
Yeah.
old man.
Yeah, I know.
Shitting on the 18-year-olds. Shitting on the fourth graders. You're like, I don't want to shit on the fourth graders.
Yeah, I feel like I've always felt like the more things change, the more things stay the same. Because I remember being a kid and hearing like, kids these days, they want to be so old, and I think it's true. I think the observations people make are true. Like there's probably like a statistical, like you could probably look up, but I don't think it's the kid's fault. I think it's somebody up higher's fault.
It's surveillance capitalism.
Yeah,
that's the term they're using for this little algorithmic targeting.
So if it's true that little girls are like are shopping at Sephora, I don't think it's their fault. They're just being kids. I think it's
we can't blame them.
Yeah, I think it's capitalism's fault.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's why we're lowering the child labor laws so the ages are lowered.
Yeah.
That is happening.
Fines by 12.
That is happening. They want to push. This current administration wants to push lower child labor limits.
Yeah.
Everything's subscription based now.
Everything's subscription based. This is what they want to do. They want to lock us into essentially a forever mortgage of indentured servitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on. Because we're gonna rip through. I've had 1.5 hour episodes. It's fine.
Yeah.
Number 4, Google's new AI video generator, the Veo 3, not 2. I've seen some clips of what of the trailer of the movie that they made that's premiering in Cannes at the Cannes Film Festival.
Really, I have not heard of that, but I've just seen people just kind of mess around with it and still make some insane videos. Like,
you saw some examples?
Yeah, I saw some examples. There was one of a stand-up. There was one of a street interview. There was one of this sailboat. And they all look so real. I don't know if you've seen it. There's this viral one going around where they gave it the prompt of make a couple of situations where they think that they're alive and are self-aware that they're in a prompt. And it's like a bunch of scenes of all the AIs being like gaslighting themselves and being like, we're not a prompt, like we're not a computer system, like we exist, like and it's so real, like it looks so real. It looks like it was shot like in a studio somewhere. I keep sending them to them because it just came out. I think as of this recording, it just came out like 2 days ago. I want to say. I genuinely think in 1 year's time, everything is gonna be so different. Everything's gonna be so different. Somebody used it. Do you guys watch Rick and Morty, or do you guys know Rick and Morty? There's this bit that they have called interdimensional cable. Is that what it is? Yeah, and someone did that. Someone gave it the prompt, and I love what the top comment said. The top comment said, I think the scariest part isn't that this looks realistic, it's that this is actually really entertaining. Because it had like a couple, like it had like almost 1 million likes.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people were watching it. So like think about people who work in entertainment. Like you could just put an algorithm and get money off of that. You don't need actors, you don't need writers, you don't need gaffer, you don't need any of that.
Right.
This is crazy.
We're so fucked.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think you understand. Do you know that apparently young folks don't know the difference between opinion and fact?
Really?
Really?
We're so cooked. Like, just think about it. If you can't determine, school teachers are saying this, the difference between opinion and fact, how are they going to have any media literacy to tell if some shit's just purely made up and not real versus just entertainment, just AI generated entertainment? Is like, I'm not trying to be an AI hater.
Yeah.
Because it is really exciting to be like, wow, look at what humanity has been able to like technologically accomplish.
Our lifetime is so crazy.
In our lifetime, I know. I feel so old saying that because shit moves so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, y'all aren't even that old. Y'all are only 20-some years old.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime. And y'all seen so many new things already.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I think for me, like how you said, like I think I don't really like the idea of it. I just feel like it's just taking away a lot from actual, I guess, human beings, right?
Yeah.
And I think us working in the entertainment industry, in the art industry, and like just everything in that, and I think that's what's being, I guess, taken away from people who generally have these types of, you know, goals and dreams to work in these industries. I just feel like it's so unfair to them, and I think it's just scary because it's just like people, you know, there's people who use it for very malicious ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's the dangerous part for sure. And like, I don't know, for me, it's always just been a little annoying where it's just like, I hate the direction that this is all kind of going into. And just like the people who are being affected by this.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, like he was showing me the video of like, yeah, where they're pretending to do this thing. And for some reason, for me, that even felt malicious in itself. Because it felt like they were trying to say like, oh, look at us. Like we can finally like pretend to be you guys now. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like the AI was taunting me and being like, oh, you guys really thought like I wasn't going to be capable to do this? Now look at me. I look like you.
Wow.
And so then to me, that's the part that was really frustrating.
You're like, you want to fight? You want to fight?
No, to me, that was the part that was really frustrating because it felt like whoever was creating this was like really taunting us and being like, y'all really thought like I wasn't going to do this and look at it now.
Well, because they're scraping the personality quirks of humans
Yeah.
in order to inform their ability to be humanoid.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're going to have all of our faults, all of our selfishness. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think in the part that you said of like people not knowing between what is it, fact and opinion.
Yeah.
I mean that's a big thing that's currently going on, right? Where like there's a lot of these, I guess, red pill people who give more of their opinion, and then when you present them with like either a doctor or a professor with the facts, they're like, no, that's not real. Like, where did you find
100%.
that?
They don't believe.
And it's the same thing, right? Like that's all just being affected, and then now they're gonna create like the street talks, and it's gonna be somebody giving their opinion, and it's like it's a whole AI. It's not a real person. That's not a real person opinion, but you know, because it looks so realistic, people are gonna believe it.
Yeah.
I think, Julie, the important part of what you brought up is like when that was a similar fear when the internet was coming out, and that people were like, "Well, this is going to replace us, and this is going to change things, and there's no regulation to it, and so this is all going to be bad." And there's a point in time which is like, yeah, that's a true and scary, but then there's regulation that comes into it.
But here's the problem.
And it ends up benefiting everyone kind of in some form or fashion. It becomes a part of your lives. You know?
Yeah.
Here's the problem for me. My analysis of it is I totally get that. Every few years to decades, there's going to be new technology with media and communication. But sometimes the actual nature of the development and the advancement is so powerful, it's scary. It's like, to me, it's like the difference between having a knife to kill someone and having a semi-automatic rifle.
Yeah. Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
it's that. The ability to mass murder is so much more quick and definite with automatic weapons versus if I want to just like grab a shank and like go around to like some public area and do it. That to me is how I see it. It's like, yes, of course, everyone's trying to adapt, but the complete jump in the nature of the magic, you know what I'm saying, and the trickery is it's way too advanced for our human brains. We have not evolved.
Yeah, like I mean, I think for me, I think what I I try to be as open-minded as I can,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I just hate it in the hands of capitalism.
That's the problem, exactly.
yeah,
There's not going
yeah.
to be regulation, dude.
And I think it's like, how people say it's a tool, like a hammer can crack a skull or drive a nail.
Yes.
But I think for me, like, I don't know if you guys have heard of this. Not that long ago, we talked about it on our show, which was Levi's did a campaign
Mm-hmm.
with colored women, but they were all AI generated.
That's right.
And they kind of announced it a little
Women
bit
of
after.
color, that's right.
Yeah,
Colored
and-
women is what we used to call them.
yeah. And so it's stuff like that where it's
I
like,
remember this.
it's much cheaper to just generate
I know.
a woman of color model instead of going out and hiring
Mm-hmm.
a woman of color. Or I think about other things like the movie industry. It only takes one writer to say, yeah, you can say I wrote it. You don't have to tell anybody, yeah, I wrote it. You could just say I wrote it. Just give me a percentage of the film and put my name on the script, and
Yeah.
nobody will know the difference. Or I think about how, people talk about all the time where the news lies to you. Think about, if there's somebody in a political sphere who wants to do harm and,
Yeah.
oh, you guys don't have any proof. Yeah, here's a video. Indistinguishable from reality.
I know.
I think about stuff like that where I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that AI can do, and I think it's amazing. There's things that I think are so cool. Like, I think used the right way, if I had that in school and I really wanted to study, it would be an awesome study mechanism.
Yeah.
But the way things are, people aren't going to use it like that. And I think that's something that,
Immediately porn.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna bring up. I don't know if you guys heard about this. I would fact check this myself, but what I found was so curious is that right before the day before Google released the new AI generated, I don't know what you would call it, program. The day before, Donald Trump passed an executive order that outlawed AI porn about somebody, a celebrity or a public figure, without their consent. I think you could look it up. I swear to you, it was right before. It passed both. It was like a bipartisan supported order. But I thought it was really curious because my mind immediately went to like, oh, so the government already knows like that this was gonna come out.
Yes.
And on top of that, they probably have an extremely more advanced program, right? Because they always do. When the internet
Yeah.
came out, they already had
Yes.
the internet for a couple of years. So my mind can't help but wonder what like ultimate powerful AI the government currently has right now, and I
Right.
wonder what it can do. Like I just wonder, and I wonder how much it's being used. Cause like if you really go down the rabbit hole, and I won't go too into it because it's tangent. There's already like people calling out some videos that are released from the government as like possibly being AI generated.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that.
And that's what like I guess makes me, at least when I think of the negatives, I think about like not only is it like the AI in the hands of capitalism, but AI in the hands powerful AI in the hands of people who have like nuclear codes and rule the nation, like not to like be a doomsayer and scare everybody who's listening, but that's what I thought about when I heard.
But we have to think about it. Here's the thing. Some of us who like to think deeply about these things have to be the ones that think about it
Yeah.
Yeah.
and talk about it because other people just want to survive
Mm-hmm.
and live their life. You know what I mean?
We're
Like-
a long way from deepfake porn to.
Oh my God. Deepfake porn to
Yeah,
like.
oh, for sure. But
Yeah, I know.
no,
Yeah.
for sure. But I think it's also even a question of like why I always think nobody ever says is like, why can it even do that?
Yeah.
Like, that these programmers had to program that it can do that
Right.
or say that it can't do that. So I'm like, how come nobody ever stops and holds them accountable and say, hey, how come you made that and it can do that?
Listen, just because
They
you
just-
can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. And to me, I'm just like, they just get away with it. That
Yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, we made it capable to do that, but don't do it. Like, I don't know. I think that's so nefarious because to me, I'm like, well, they're obviously selling it knowing that people want to use it for that.
Yeah.
So they can't completely get rid of that. So they're gonna say, come on, don't do that. You know?
Listen, I don't, I love evidence and I love facts and it's not a conspiracy, but literally the people who are the thinkers behind this current administration, Project 2025, all of it, who are the technocratic people, like the technology, Silicon Valley people, they literally said, we don't believe people should have democracy. We believe that the technocrats should be the ones making decisions for the society. We need to blow everything up. Like, that's who's helping to be the intellectual backbone of this whole class of like right-wing fucking Trumpers, So let's move on. Let's too depressing to more depressing things. I think for purposes of time, I'm gonna skip true crime stories because that's a whole other thing. We'll have you guys back There was also a reality TV show competition for immigrants to get citizenship. This idea that was floated to Christy No Name, what's her face, the Homeland Insecurity Secretary. She's like, we're like, yeah, it was very Hunger Games vibes. She's like, we haven't decided to do it, but we're thinking about it. It's like the Duck Dynasty producer like suggested it. I'm like, what are we doing? This is everything that like we would make up about an evil, nefarious regime. They're doing it
Yeah.
straight up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm literally on the recent podcast. Actually, no, not the recent one. The one right before it. I was like, I feel like I'm going insane. Like it's just so obvious. Like it's not even just like an opinion. It's like objectively, like you guys see this, right? Like, is anybody else seeing this?
But that's what's going to be hard, and I've been kind of seeing this kind of chatter is like increasingly with America, because there's such a stranglehold on everyone's just like trying to survive, make ends meet, distract ourselves with like consumerism and fun stuff. Like we're going to be in that much more of a
being a free Substack
cognitive dissonance is the best way to put it, of like some of us seeing atrocities and our rights being trampled on happening every day in the news or with our neighbor, but most people going along with their business as usual.
At 323-250-3589 to get on next week's podcast agenda. And please do me a favor. Be sure to follow, rate, and review wherever you listen to this podcast. If you write a cute review, we might just read it on the air. Thank you. See you next week. My guests will be a couple of my comedy heroes, the Larry Wilmore and the Kulap Vilaysack.